Hello all, welcome to oratrainings.com. In this session, we'll discuss about the requisition import FBDI process in Oracle Cloud ERP. And this is the XLSM template of Oracle Cloud ERP for the import requisition. So this particular XLSM file has three sheets. So the first one here, if you observe, this is a header interface, nothing but the header level information of the requisition. Next one is a line level data, and the next one is a distribution level data. So let us see the data from the front end first, and then we'll try to understand the data to be filled up for the requisition. So this is one of the sample. Let me show you this. So, so here if you observe the header part, whatever you're seeing, this is part requisition header, and this is a line part. And the remaining, whatever your details you're saying here, details and the billing, the line, these are line details, and the billing comes in the part of distribution. So what are the billing information which you're seeing for the line, that is part of the distribution. Okay. So if at all, if you want to create the requisition from the UI, what you can do is I'll navigate to the home. Click on requisitions, purchase requisitions. And once you navigate to the purchase requisitions, you just need to click on more task and click on enter requisition line. So this particular task is for the purpose of creating a requisition. And here, now when you click on this enter requisition line, it will navigate to a page where you can enter the line information. So the header information will be auto populated here. So now I'll just mention the supplier name. So I'll try to create without using CPR BPA. I'll just create a requisition based on the supplier rather than using any blanket purchase agreement or contract purchase agreement. So I'll just say test item description, and you just mention the category name, mention the UOM name, okay, mention the price, and also check this box if at all if you want to create a purchase order for your requisition, and then click on add to cart. And also here, if you observe, the distribution billing information will be auto populated based on the supplier which you selected, and you can change the percentages, the quantity and pricing, but as of now you can just go with the default. And also requisition delivery date, so here if you observe, this should be always greater than or equal to your current sys date, I mean nothing but your system data. I'll just click on add to cart. So at this point what happens is your requisition line got added, and then you can just click on the cart and you can simply click on submit. So if you observe the requisition data here, so the requisition was submitted for the approval, and you can also just click here, click on the requisition. So here, if you observe, this requisition header was auto-populated based on the data which we selected the line. Okay, so you can also have multiple lines in the requisition, and the distribution also respectively you have to update the requisition. Okay, so once this particular requisition gets approved, the purchase order will get generated for this requisition. Okay, so it will take some time. Maybe you can just see here, click on view more. So once it gets approved, it will automatically there is a automatic job process which will get invoked, generate order, that will generate the purchase order based on the requisition which was approved. Okay, so now let us see the data what is required. So we have seen that we require the information at the header level as well as the distribution level. I mean, we require the data at the line level and distribution. Header information will be auto populated when you create a requisition from the UI, but when you create the requisition from the FBDI, you have to manually populate the header information. So now what we do is, let us navigate to our header sheet. The first column is the interface header key, which should be unique key for each line. So I just mentioned 5. Import source, you can mention what are the source you want to consider for your particular requisition import, and then the requisition BU, the batch ID. When you're trying to upload the set of requisition, generally we mention the batch ID for the purpose of reconciliation purpose to understand which set of data was imported or not, kind of thing. And this you can ignore. Status code incomplete. Okay, approver you can ignore, and entered by the buyer who is mentioning this one, and the requisition number, so you can mention the appropriate requisition number. This should be unique, so I'll mention xx era underscore 002. And description, this is your header description, and the remaining are not mandatory information, you can just simply ignore them. Okay, so this is the header level part. Now coming to the line level part, so let's navigate to the line level part. So we just need to mention the header interface key. So we mentioned here line number header 5, right? So similarly, I need to mention the list of lines for this particular header. So I'll just mention header interface key as 5, and this is my line key. Mention the destination type, destination type code, delivery to location. So these delivery to information, delivery to organization, based on your requisition preferences, you need to mention them. And the requester, you have to mention the requester email ID. And these are the item details for which particular item you want to raise a request. So I mentioned like a non-inventory based kind of data. So I'll just go with item description, category name, UOM code, line type, the quantity and currency, and the price. Okay, and also conversion rate you can mention. And there is one important thing like a procurement BU. Apart from this, you need to mention the supplier data. So you can mention the new supplier or you can mention the existing supplier based on the requirement. You can mention if it is a agreement based requisition, you have to mention your agreement details. Okay, and then we require one more important, yeah, this one more important flag, negotiated. If at all, if the value is Y, it will automatically generate the purchase order also. And the next one is delivery. Yeah, so delivery date, mention the date which is after or I mean greater than or equal to current date. So this is the data at the line level. And now coming back to the distribution level here, if you observe, it is very much simple. You need to mention your distribution key, nothing but unique key for each line of the distribution, and the line key you have to mention, and the percentage of data. You can split the data like for a given line, you can have multiple distribution. You can mention the distribution percentage accordingly, quantity, amount, and also the other important information is you need to mention the segment details of your particular distribution. So I'll just say here, yeah. So these are the chart segment you have to mention for your distribution. Remaining DFF attributes, these are not mandatory. You can just mention them for your understanding purpose, but they're not mandatory. Okay. So now here, if you observe, when we click on the generate CSV file, similar to another FBDI process, for each sheet, it will generate a CSV file, and finally, it will zip all these three files. Okay. Just click on generate CSV file. It has to generate a CSV file for each sheet, and then it has to zip the three sheets. I mean, zip all the three files. So just simply click on save and click on save. In some systems, it will automatically generate zip file, but in some systems, or it will manually ask every time you have to click on save. Okay, but in some of the BDI or like based on some of the operating system properties, generally it just simply generates a zip file without even asking to save it. Okay. Now I'll select the location. So I'll select the location of my FBDI zip file. So go to the load interface file, like go to the schedule ESS process sheet. Now select load interface file for import. So this particular step, what it will do, in this particular step, you have to mention the source data, nothing but the zip file. Okay. And then you have to mention the import process name. So for our import requisition, the import process name is import requisition. Okay. Again, search it. Just see if there is some mistake. Try again. Sometimes it will be slow. Yeah. Yeah, got it. Now in the data file, if your file is already uploaded in the UCM, you can select the file. If you want to upload explicitly, you have to click on upload a new file. So I'll select upload a new file, select zip file, click on OK. So this particular step, what it will do, it will read the file and import the respective CSV file into each particular interface table. So as we have three sheets, and each particular sheet will have interface table as per the Oracle FBDI concept. So this particular first one here, which I'm showing, this is a distribution one, this header one, another one is line one. Okay, so the first sheet, the first one is header one. Let me change it, header one, lines, as well as distribution. So these are three interface table in which the respective data will get inserted. If there is an error while inserting the data into the interface table, we cannot proceed further. Okay, so we always need to observe whether this particular import process is successful, nothing but the load process successful. If at all load process successful, then only we have to go to the further step. Okay, yeah, so it's almost done. All three particular jobs were successful. Okay, so now the next one is import requisition we have to invoke. Okay, so now import requisition, click on OK. So this have set of parameters. You have to select them appropriately. So we are uploading the data into US1 business unit. So select them appropriately. And group by it is not mandatory because we just have only single particular record. It doesn't matter whether you select a group by or not. And also it doesn't matter if you select a batch ID or not. But if you are loading the data with multiple batches, maybe you can select the appropriate batch ID. Okay. So I'll just leave the remaining one and simply click on submit. And now let it run. So I'll just click on OK. I'll go to the BI. So to just see whether do we have any error information in any of the error table or all things are okay kind of thing. Okay. So if we just see, let's see only 5 records. This got succeeded. What you can do, just search here. Okay. So our requisition got imported, right? XX_002 was our requisition, which got imported successfully, right? So if you just see here, click on import requisition. Okay. And just click on this particular set of attachment. And one more important thing is success of your import requisition doesn't mean that your requisition got imported successfully. Always you need to check the log file, text file. One interesting thing is if it is having any PDF file, it means that your requisition got failed. Now in my case, it does not have any PDF file. It means that definitely the requisition got imported successfully without any issue. Okay, but if it is having any PDF, generally as per this particular Requisition FBDI logic, it generates a PDF there if there are any errors in the import process. Okay, so in our case, we don't have any issue. It got imported successfully, but how are we telling? Because I was able to see this particular information, right? XX_002. Not only that, what is other way you can do it? You can always check in the interface table whether the data for your particular requisition number is successful or not. So I'll just search with my requisition header table, okay, in the BI, and click on data view, click on table structure, and you can just see here, just search the requisition number. Yeah, can you see the requisition number XX or this one, and the batch ID was this one. Okay, and status, somewhere you'll have the status, and this is not the status of your completion. This is status of your requisition. And yeah, let us see a few more columns here. Okay, okay, can you see the process flag? If at all the process flag is having status as success, it means that your requisition got imported successfully. If at all if it has failed, it means that your import is not successful. Okay, if it is in process, it means that you never called your requisition for the purpose of import. They are still available in the interface table, but they are not imported. You have to manually select the set of records. I mean, you have to select the import process and select the appropriate set of columns, I mean, filtering criteria, and then you have to import. Okay. And one more interesting thing is always check the data. If at all, if you're getting any errors in your particular requisition import, always check this error table for the purpose of detail error. Even it generates a PDF error, like as we said, like whenever your FBDI import process fails, it generates the PDF file for the detailed information. But you can also, for your particular analysis purpose, let us say like if you want to filter the list of errors, the unique set of errors, or if you want to analyze deeper information for each particular line, this is one of the good table to find out what is failed at which line and which column kind of thing. Another interesting part is like once your equation got imported successfully, you can find out the data in this particular base table for your requisition. Okay, and also let us see like one more thing. Let me just refresh this one. Okay, so it is still incomplete. So as of now it was not generated, right? So it is not approved. Okay, so what you can do based on the requirement, you can mention whether you want to approve it or if you want to just let it be in a incomplete status. You can do that kind of thing, or simply click on submit. Now it will be sent for approval. Okay, so this is all about the requisition import in the Oracle Cloud ERP. Thank you.